Cancer. This is your June 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading for the month ahead. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel and tune in, and happy solar returns if you have a birthday this month. We're opening up with the energy of the Four of Swords, the Four of Air, and there are going to be some necessary course corrects taking place this month, which means that you need to take a minute really to take a step back and figure out where your priorities are and how you feel about certain things following some of the changes and shifts that have taken place in the last few weeks. This is going to give you a better focus, better energy, and an overall better attitude to be able to deal with anything that comes your way. Of course, this month we have the beautiful Solstice event coming in, and it really means the sun stands still. And so there is this moment of stillness and reflection that I see coming through for you. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and we don't want to let that frenetic energy of Gemini in the first part of the month overwhelm you, because this is about doing things on your terms at your pace. Now we open up this month with Venus in your sign trining with Neptune in Pisces, fellow water signs. So there's a really beautiful healing energy around this. And I think wherever you do need to address something that perhaps you've just been through or is still playing out around you and has you emotionally perhaps in a little bit of a discord state, then the beginning of June does help to resolve and reconcile something within you. And again, it's because you give yourself that time to be able to process. Now we're then going to approach the full moon in Sagittarius at 13 degrees coming in the 3rd or the 4th of the month. And again, Mars in your sign right now is going to be trining this full moon. So you're going to be making some very deliberate, decisive moves around that time, and they're coming from a place of strength and empowerment. I do want to say to you that it's important that you really give yourself the opportunity to focus on just one key area around this full moon. Otherwise, it can almost be like you're spreading yourself too thin and there's just too much going on. And because we have this 6th house energy being illuminated by the full moon in Sagittarius for you, and again in Gemini season you're working through that 12th house, there's something very much about your healing journey right now being addressed, but also the way in which you're showing up on a day-to-day basis. And I think the focus, the priority, the adjustment that you're going to make is very much about giving yourself more space, more time. And that's perhaps to redirect yourself towards the things that are important right now, or what you want to make time for, or even to recover, or just give yourself that little bit more headspace to be able to continue this kind of, how do I feel about what's just happened? How do I feel about, these new course corrects and changes that are coming up for me at this time? Now, Venus is going to shift into Leo on the 5th of the month, just following that full moon. Here, of course, we've got some big grand gestures coming through. It's noteworthy to say that Venus is going to shift retrograde in July on the 22nd, and so we're going to have a shadow period that's going to kick off around the 19th of June. So anything that comes up between the 5th and the 19th for this month that is connected directly to your money, your finances, and to love relationships, to the way that you value yourself, this is going to be revisited, and you're going to be doing some, micromanagement around this when retrograde takes place. Now remember, often with these big gestures, when we then move into a retrograde situation, things can come undone a little bit. So it does kind of give you a little bit of caution to think through some of the things that you might want to say and do connected again to these themes in the first part of June, okay? Of course, Leo does come through in your 2nd house of finances, so there is going to be like an extra emphasis, I think, for you, Cancer, this month around that money story. I think actually there will be a really important purchase that you're considering, or that is coming up through the month of June, and your heart's getting in the way a little bit. Maybe you really have a deep desire to have this in your life. You've been thinking about it for a long time, but it's going to be worthwhile you just kind of really sitting and contemplating, and not just thinking about what it means in the instant gratification of having it, but also where it leaves you down the line, either from the responsibility, the commitment of it, or just, you know, whether that is a decision that might be best served just kind of coming in a little bit later when you feel slightly more secure, or things have shifted or changed in your world a little bit. So it's just a heads up to kind of keep that in mind. The Empress, of course, tells me that there's something really creative sort of bubbling away behind the scenes as well. And, you know, with this, again, illumination of Sagittarius at the full moon, I think there's some kind of project, something connected into your work or your purpose, that also you're going to get flashes of new insight and inspiration through this month of June. And that might feel quite exciting, especially if you felt a little bit stuck for a while, or just kind of wondering, well, what happens next, or what comes next. You do need to pay attention, I think, that you're not necessarily through moments this month seeing the full picture, because I have this sort of feeling of you becoming like overly critical or disappointed even in how something ends up. And we need to kind of balance you back here, because we have to look at the entirety of the investment that's already gone into this, you know, the energy that you've put behind the scenes, and your intention and attention towards trying to bring this to life. It's also thinking about where it is in its own life cycle. You know, the Empress is really reminding us of the significance of these cycles, and that we don't force, we just allow this sense of flow and natural rhythm. And so as you can approach June from this perspective of being like a neutral witness, you're going to find it far easier to be able to be more honest in terms of your evaluation of where anything sits for you, and, you know, what evidence you're seeing and how you feel about the course trajectory of anything that you're working on, anything that's connected into your work, your purpose, your creativity on that level, okay? As we said earlier, a plan does need to be strengthened, and this month, of course, we're going to be seeing several more planets shifting retrograde. We've got Saturn on the 17th, and during that transit we do revisit commitments and we review our boundaries to look at the long-term vision of things. You are weighing something up here with the Two of Air, and I think rightly so, because if this is going to be something that's part of your life for a longer period, then you want to make sure that it's coming in on the right terms. So again, this gives you the opportunity to make sure that anything that feels a bit flaky or hasn't really been thought through fully can now be given time to be properly reevaluated and reflected upon. That's going to make a huge difference, especially as it arrives on the new moon in Gemini, the 17th. So an important decision that comes will also put you in a much stronger position. So remember, you know, around that new moon, the choice that you make is going to end up putting you in a better position. Now, Mercury will also shift into Gemini on the 11th of the month. And again, you know, the natural ruler of the sign, and during Gemini season, this does make it easier for us to be able to communicate our ideas, to have those conversations. Things can at times feel a bit frenetic and a bit overwhelming, especially as 12th house for you. There's a tendency to want to just pull back and withdraw and just kind of really nourish and focus on the release and the healing and the kind of the preparation really for your own solar returns. That said, there's an important reminder of not censoring yourself in that first part of June, okay? You might have a feeling of just like, you know what, it's not even worth it. Like, I don't even want to get involved in the drama, especially with Venus and Leo. I'm just going to keep quiet. I'm just not going to share my thoughts, or I'm not going to give my opinion. But that would be not in your highest and best good, because I feel like there is some recognition and some praise coming your way for how you handle something, how you show up to something, and especially where you're trying to navigate a particular relationship, you know, that is affecting you on a heart level. So important to keep those lines of communication open. You may feel through parts of the beginning of June that you're struggling a little bit to get on the same page as somebody. What I'm going to say is don't force. Things will come to a natural conclusion, whether they are resolved or released. And you have other things that you do need to attend to in the meantime as well. So it's not supposed to kind of consume you this month, Cancer. Strength comes through, and I think this is important because where you do have to make this decision, I feel like it is quite a significant one for you. And again, as we look at it putting you in a stronger, more empowered position, you may feel like you're not quite ready for it, or what will other people think, or how is this going to have an impact, like what's the ripple effect of this. But you know, even where there's a little bit of stress that comes through, it is going to almost focus your mind, and it's going to, I think, help you to address something sooner rather than later. And I do feel that that's important for you because that will give you peace of mind. I want to call out just after that new moon on the 19th, Jupiter will sextile to Saturn. And that does give us this strength to overcome the odds, to really deal with the mountain that's in front of us, and in a way that feels deeply empowering. So keep that in mind, okay? If you are struggling up until that point, there's like a breakthrough, there's a cosmic force, if you like, that's going to come through and provide an opportunity for you to be able to dig deeper and to kind of use that tenacity, the resolve, and what you've learned about yourself through maybe a similar similar situation in the past, or a revisitation of something that you thought had been dealt with, but here we are again. Nonetheless, there's a positive outcome to this, okay? But it does require of you, I feel, to kind of make the call, to make the decision. You can't sit on the fence, and you can't not share how you feel about something, okay? So of course we will welcome beautiful solstice energy, the sun shifting into your sign. Sarah's asteroid goddess moves into Libra, and we also have Mercury sextile to Mars in your sign, all happening on the 21st of the month. And this is a time to really celebrate and to honor where you find yourself at this midpoint of the year. It's a very soul-soothing and balancing energy. The Seven of Air comes through and suggests to me that, you know, there is a lot on your mind around this time, and something's weighing a little heavy, and it may be about the reactions or the actions of others. And I think it's all kind of coming up into the light to be cleared, to be healed, to be released on your part around this time, okay? You may feel that sense of people discussing, or things going on that you're not being privy to, or you're not being invited to kind of participate in, and that can leave like a somewhat uncomfortable energy around you. But I do want to say that you're so fully protected around this time as the sun shifts into your sign and you start to consider how you want to express yourself. Again, be reminded about what I said, that it's important that you do speak up and that you share what you think, because I think that can have a huge influence and bearing on sort of cutting through any kind of an energy that's denser or heavier or more tricky or challenging to deal with, okay? I feel like you will be calling somebody out around some lies or some untruths that don't sit well or don't sit comfortably for you. And, you know, the next day, the 22nd, we also see asteroid goddess Juno shifting into your sign of Cancer. So everything comes very close to home. And in our relationships, our agreements, especially in business, anything connected into partnerships, there's also going to be that strong focus, around trying to come at things from a more sensitive perspective. Mercury, of course, will shift into your sign Cancer on the 26th, and that will feel even more harmonious for you to take the conversation to the next level. And I think you've been waiting for that for so long, that this will finally be your time to really recognize and be recognized, okay? End of the month, we will see Neptune shifting retrograde. So remember, that kind of takes the rose-tinted glasses off, and I think you will look at something in your life very, very differently. And over the next few weeks, as we move deeper into your solar returns, again, you're going to be faced with some tougher heart choices around the relevance and the resonance of something that perhaps has been a part of your life and your world for a very long time. Now, just a reminder that this month the soul journeys that I've created to support the soul stories are focusing around timelines and our resistance to timelines and how we can clear this. Really important. And also we have one around making life choices and changes and the significance of that and how we manage that process. And so again, I think these will be really beneficial for you as you're dealing with some of these themes that we've seen coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the final 3 cards. If you're new to the channel, Cancer, we do cover these in the extended version of the reading, a top for another 25 minutes or so, and you will receive much deeper insights into the month ahead, as well as an answer to a personal question that might not have come through in the main reading. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clarify these cards now, see what direction we might be taking as we explore further in that extended. All the decks that I use are listed in the comment section below. 5 of Cups there, 3 of Cups. Might be some shifts and changes going on around your groups, teams, friendships, community. We'll explore that a little bit more. Empress is coming through with the Queen of Wands. 6 of Swords. Got the energy of the Devil, 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, that choice is definitely bringing about some conflict and stress for you, but you are being pushed to keep moving. Knight of Cups, Knight of Wands. Here's all these changes coming through. Queen of Swords. Another energy of strength, and Page of Pentacles. Just a reminder, of course, my own deck, Life Soul Vision Oracle, is also available, as well as my new book, Moon Musings, which you'll find on Amazon. If you enjoy my work, then I'm sure both of these creations will help to further support you on your soul journey. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull from the Life Soul Vision Oracle now as well for us. 3 of Cups, Detours from the Divine. Well, we talked about necessary course corrects taking place this month of June, but they're all working in your highest good, and you will come to realise that quite quickly, actually. We've got Full Moon and we've got Maverick of the Light, Dancer of the Shadow. Beautiful. Solstice, always lovely to see that coming through in the month of such powerful energy. New Moon. You've got New Moon and Full Moon coming through this month. Interesting. Queen of Air. Okay, let's go ahead and pull another oracle for you. We will explore these messages deeper into the extended reading. And we have the energy of Spark. Beautiful. Just a reminder, you know, if you're watching this as your sun, then you can also check out your moon and rising, or vice versa. It will give you a more comprehensive outlook for the month ahead. And when you purchase the extended, you can also purchase all 12 for a saving that will give you insight into all aspects of your chart. Okay. And beautiful, we have 12th house, which of course you're working with through Gemini season. All right, Cancer, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your support. Look forward to continuing this conversation with you on the extended. Have a beautiful month. Enjoy Solstice and happy solar returns.